Hi guys, we will be reviewing today for the quiz on Monday. So this quiz is just 9.5 and 9.6. So hopefully 15 minutes is enough for us to go over everything. Okay, so let's look at number 39. So the variation problem, there were 4 different types, right? Direct variation, which is number 39. So let's look at direct variation. So A varies directly with B. So then A is 27 when B is 18. So then we need to find K. So we divide each side by 18. So then K is 3 over 2. Now we need to find A when K is 3 over 2 and B is 10. So this would be 15. So we know A is 15. Another type of variation was inversely varying. So number 40. It says if y varies inversely as x, remember inverse meant the x goes in the denominator, and y is 15 when x is 35. So to find k, we need to multiply them together. So then k is 52.5. And it's asking what is y when x is negative 5. So we just divide it by negative 5. So it's negative 10.5. Number 41 is another inverse variation. So I'm going to do it on this side. Number 41. If y varies inversely as x, and then y is negative 3, and x is 9, so then k is negative 27. And it's asking you to find y when x is 81. So this one, they're both divisible by 9. So y is equal to negative 3 over 4. Now we are looking at jointly. So joint variation was when there were more than one variable in the equation, right? So it says y varies jointly as x and z. Okay, so then and x is 8, z is 3, and then y is 72. So to find k, we need to divide both sides by 8 times 3, which is 24. So then that's 3, I think. K is 3. So then it's actually asking to find y, and I know k is 3, x is negative 2, and z is negative 5. So it's 10 times 3, so it's 30. Y is 30. Alright, let's go to 43. I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it below here. 43. It's another joint variation problem. So y varies jointly with x and z. And y is 18 when x is 6 and z is 15. So we divide both sides by 6 and 15. 3 over 15 is 1 over 5. So k is 1 over 5. Let's see, y is 1 over 5 times 12 times 4. So 48 over 5 is my y, and that's the answer. Last problem from this review is number 44. So Lisa's earnings vary directly. So whatever is Lisa earning is very directly with how many hours that she babysit. And so if she earns $68 for 8 hours of babysitting, then we can find out how much she's getting paid by hour when we divide both sides by 8. think it's, I think both are divisible by 4. 17 over 2. Okay, that's K. And I want you to find what is she gonna make if she only works for 5 hours. So 17 times 5 over 2, that's 42.5. So it makes sense, right? Because it should be less than what she makes when she works for 8 hours. So that's a variation problem. So you had direct variation, inverse variation, and joint variation. Now we're going to do 9.6, which is a equation and inequality problem. One thing that you need to remember about equation is that you want to multiply all the fraction by the common denominator. So number 44, the LCD, the least common denominator, is 3 times x minus 2. So basically, I'm multiplying that to everything. 3 times 4, and then 6 times 3 times x minus 2. So then I distribute everything. So that's 12, 18x minus 36, because 6 times 3 is 18. So then we move all the x's to one side, and then numbers to the other side, as we simplify these, and so that becomes 46, and this becomes 17x. So then we divide both sides by 17, then we get that, just that, I think. And you need to plug it in to see if it's correct. So let's do that. And if you plug back into the x, and it does give you 6, so this is the correct answer. We first need to factor this one, and this is 3 and x minus 5. So this thing can be rewritten as this. So then my LCD for that problem would be x plus 5 times x minus 3. So we multiply to everything. So then the first one will just have x minus 3. The second one will just have x plus 5. And then the last one will be just 6. So we distribute, and when you distribute this one, make sure that you remember the negative. And let's combine some things and then get rid of 18 and 15. And then when you divide everything by 3, x is equal to 2 plus 6 plus 5, so 13. Okay, so that's so we need to check by plugging in. So let's do that. And again, if you check, then it is correct. So we go to number 47. This one, once again, we need to start by factoring. So this is x plus 3, x minus 3 for the first one, this one. And then this one is x minus 3 and x plus 1. So then your LCD is actually quite long. It's x plus 3, x minus 3, and x plus 1. So let's multiply that to everything. So then the first one gets x plus 1 only. And then the second one gets x plus 3. So then when we distribute, 2x plus 2 is equal to 3x plus 9. So then we minus 9 minus 9 minus 2x minus 2x. So then it's minus 7 is equal to x. So that's my answer. And then we're going to check if that is correct for this question. And when you check, it is correct. Alright, so this one we need to factor, number 48, we need to factor first, and it becomes 2x minus 3 and x plus 1. Okay. This kind of factoring you might need to group first, so you might need to write it out everything. I get used to it enough that I can do it in my head, but before you get there, you might have to just write it down, think about it a lot before you can do that. So if you didn't understand what I just did, just write it all out and do it in a step by step. So we're going to multiply this to everything. So 4x plus 1. X times 2x minus 3 is equal to negative 8x. Distribute. And then this one, because we see x squared, we are actually going to combine everything and make the other side equal to 0. And I'm going to reorganize this in a standard form. So 9x plus 4. So then this one is 2x plus 1, x plus 4 is the factor. So we need to set each of them equal to 0. So one of the x is a negative 1/2. The other one is negative 4. And then you do need to check both of them. So let's check. Alright. Sorry. You probably look at what is this because I have to go back to my recording and get rid of it. Yeah, so the other problem that we checked, and then both of them are correct. So I'm actually skipping to number 50. Yeah, sorry about the editing. I don't want to run out of time. I wanted to show you everything. So solving the, what do you call it? The inequality is very similar. So we first get the LCD and we multiply them to everywhere. 2x, x minus 1, plus 4, and then x minus 1. We distribute, and then you see that we are seeing x squared, meaning that we have to send everything to one side, and then try to factor. But this one is not factorable, and so then you need to use a quadratic formula. And even that is not useful because it actually gives you an imaginary number. So then in that case, what you do is that you just go back and then look at your equation and then find anything that will make denominator 0, which is 1. So then just like what we did the other lesson, we choose a number that is to the left and to the right of the number 1, and then we plug those into my x. And this one, when you plug in 0, you actually get a true statement. But if you plug in 2, you get a false statement because it says 1 point something is smaller than half, and it's not true. So then your answer is from negative infinity to 1. And you don't need to check for zeros because your zeros are actually not real. So let me do one more, which is number 51. LCD, I need a space. Sorry, this is very unorganized. So the LCD of this is 2x times 5 times 3. And then we are going to multiply to everything. So 15 minus 4 times 6 is greater than 10x. So 15 minus 24 is negative 9, I think. 10x divided by 10 divided by 10. So we have something like x is less than negative 9 over 10. But remember, we just like assume it to be an equal sign. So basically, in our number line here, one of the numbers is negative 9 over 10. And then the other number is 0 because that we cannot have 0 as a denominator here. So then we choose the number negative 1, negative 0.5, and 1. And then we plug it in. When you plug it in, it's a negative 1/2 minus plus 4/5 is greater than 1/3. We actually have to do this. Negative 1/2. Let me use a calculator. And this one is false. It's slightly smaller than 0.333, but the negative 0.5 is actually true. So let me write true. And the last one is false. So remember, my answer is, I know that it's a parentheses, not bracket, because my inequality was greater than, less than, not equal to. 52 is a work problem that we worked at. I'm going to write down the answer and the solution, but I won't have time to go over it in the video. So if you have a question, please email me, but I'll write the solution right here. Okay, right here. This.